All right, guys. Once again, thanks so much for joining us this wonderful session. In fact, this is actually the earliest Twitter space that we have ever done. So usually it's in the night. So I think this is rather something new. But as well, there's always first for everything. When we talk about Hong Kong, and to me personally, Hong Kong is one of my most favorite cities in the world. But very recently, since the last October, Hong Kong has been making strides towards becoming a global financial hub once again by embracing virtual assets and adopting a crypto-friendly regulatory approach when the government made an announcement last year, October. And of course, this move has certainly generated a huge anticipation for the return of exchanges, market makers, hedge funds, and personally, I feel like there will be more Web3 businesses will be setting up shop in this vibrant city. Now, to also fuel the city's Web3 industry development, the government has set aside of 15 million Hong Kong dollars to be hosting international conferences, commercial partnerships, and youth programs. And certainly, this presents a very golden opportunity to lead an innovative development. Now, some of the, if I'm not mistaken, some of the very progressive news that I've been following on Twitter. One of the largest exchanges, Huobi Global, is also planning to relocate its Asia headquarters from Singapore to Hong Kong. Additionally, DBS, the largest bank in Southeast Asia, has also announced that it will be applying for the license necessary to provide cryptocurrency trading to its Hong Kong clients. Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission (SFC) has declared that all marketplaces for digital assets in Hong Kong must also have a license and actively promote to investors. Now, all these changes certainly aim to make Hong Kong a much more attractive destination for companies operating in the Web3 ecosystem. So by highlighting all the city's initiative, regulatory framework, and growing interest in the Web3 space, this can definitely effectively convey Hong Kong's potential as a leading global hub for Web3 technologies. So, this session, we have none other than the global CEO for the upcoming exciting event. Of course, been making headlines in Telegram, social media, the WOW Summit Hong Kong, and the founding partners of Uvecon VC. Ivan V is our guest today to be sharing his insights about the future and also opportunities of Web3. So thank you so much, Ivan, once again for taking your precious time on joining us today. How's it going for you?
Yeah, thank you, Arthur. It's actually going well. So I'm super excited about what's going on in Hong Kong and super excited about our upcoming event. So it's so nice to see that Hong Kong dropped all these kind of restrictions, COVID restrictions. So everybody can come right now to Hong Kong. No need vaccination, no need mask, nothing. So, and it's really getting hot here in blockchain, crypto, and virtual assets industry and Web3. Because really government announced this approach to make Hong Kong really the world financial and virtual assets hub. So it's almost financial hub, but last 3 years or 4 years since 2019, when all this kind of when it was first crypto winter and the first ICO booms was ended. As Securities and Futures Commission here, so they clearly said that they don't allow retail trading. So the crypto is still legal, but only for professional investors. And this turned around last November when SFC they announced that they want to make Hong Kong really virtual asset hub and allow the retail trading of cryptocurrencies, so to make the clear guideline for the industry players. So this is really, really exciting. And the good thing that starting from June 1st, retail trading of cryptocurrencies in Hong Kong will be absolutely legal. So that's why actually all these big players, all the exchanges, virtual asset operators, so they're all right now applying for the licenses in Hong Kong.
Well, definitely. I mean, I can feel your excitement, Ivan. I mean, when we talk about Hong Kong, has been going through a series of challenges in the last couple of years, from the riot, from the COVID, from the restrictions, quarantine, as what you mentioned earlier. And I think personally, there's no other better times right now that Hong Kong has totally loosening the whole entire restriction, opening up the city to the world again, and of course really clinching its positions to become a global financial hub. Now, Ivan, just one question. If all this has not been taking place, will Summit will still be organized this year then?
Yeah. So actually, so we chose Hong Kong for this WOW Summit in August 2022, when it was actually not very clear about what will be happening with all these restrictions, and also about what will be going on with the virtual assets industry as well. But later on, once we confirmed the venue in October, and in November, all this announcement from SFC came. So I say definitely we make the right choice to bring this WOW Summit to Hong Kong.
That's excellent. I mean, I believe that they're super looking forward to be witnessing WOW Summit, and of course joining. You have also a very strong Telegram group members that are rallying, that are definitely supporting WOW Summit, and of course, I believe I can resonate to a lot of the Web3 enthusiasts. That WOW Summit is probably going to be the first event that a lot of the Web3 enthusiasts will be actually stepping into Hong Kong since the COVID. Probably maybe before we dive into understanding more of the macro environment of Hong Kong, probably maybe could you give some insights so what should we be expecting of the upcoming WOW Summit? What is it so different as compared to other conferences that have been held around the Asia region?
First of all, it's the first large-scale Web3 conference after Hong Kong reopening and announcing all these changes in the regulatory environment. So second thing, so what we really try to do is to bring together all the industry players and government as well. So and also to show the real adoption of the technology. So combine together all these technical talks with some entertainment effect. So an example, we will have large NFT exhibition area, NFT in digital art, with 4 huge LED walls. So and we have exciting partnership for this area with different art collectors, NFT collectors, and also one of the biggest marketplaces called Live Art, liveart.io. So they're actually curating the space, and these guys, they have 500,000 followers in different social media, and backed by guys like KuCoin, Binance, and other top industry players. So we will definitely have some AR installations, so digital art showcases. We will have also the organization called Charity Keys, which is actually supporting different artists, and also supporting the sustainability and green emission, something like this. So this is really trying to combine the experience and trying to show the real adoption of the blockchain technology itself, not just the conferences doing the crypto hype or selling some crypto. We are trying to show more real use cases, more adoption of the technology, and I would say the future of the space.
Well, thanks, Ivan. That sounds very exciting. Then I'm sure that from the ways how you have just explained, it's just not a very typical conventional Web3 conference that where I attend and I'm listening to all this bunch of experts talking, sharing ideas. It sounds to me it's very engaging, very experiential, and also very immersive at the same time. And I think that's what really Web3 conferences has to be. What about for the startup owners and project founders? As we always say that, right now, during this current climate, right now, it's always definitely a project builder's time. And what about project builders? What we expect the project builders and founding team and entrepreneurs to be expecting from this conference just in the areas of capital raising?
Yeah, definitely. So, as a part of WOW Summit, we always have the startup competition. So, and this time we received more than 100 applications from startups from all over the world. So, which is super exciting. So, like from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from India, from US, from Africa, from Europe, so from Middle East, so from all over the world, more than 100 startup applications. And so we also make some kind of like special, very discounted offer for project builders, because we understand. I myself have entrepreneurial background, and I was on both sides, investor and founder, which is raising capital. So I understand that normally startups, they don't have money. So, but we really want to support them. And we will have around 100 investors attending the conference, and also judging this startup pitch competition. So this is how we really want to support the startup community. Yeah. So actually, the fundraising, of course, fundraising landscape right now is not very optimistic, I would say. So because it's crypto winter, and after all these crashes of FTX and also Silicon Valley Bank, so the venture capital industry right now is suffering. But at the same time, so the technology itself, it's actually developing and it's evolving, and it's really nice to see that founders are still building. So and building like really exciting products and projects, which actually also extending the adoption of the blockchain technologies in payments, in assets tokenization, in DeFi finance. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Ivan, I want to pluck your brain just as I got it there. I mean, with what that we have been seeing, with the post FTX as an era, and of course now with the Silicon Valley Bank that has recently took place over the last weekend. But here there's another school of thought while all this is happening during the whole crypto winter, investors are not very optimistic. But however, this is also the other narrative. It's where this is also another good opportunity to really find great projects, great technology, because oftentimes adversity breeds opportunity. Now, what do you see that Hong Kong as a country as a whole, that the optimism levels of supporting such technologies and also entrepreneurs to really propel forward, in excelling in this region itself?
Yeah, I think Hong Kong has really unique position in the world, and also in financial world, and as well right now in virtual asset world, because of, first of all, its geographic location. So it's on the border with mainland China. Mainland China is one of the biggest markets. Well, the crypto itself in China is prohibited right now, but what I see and what I hear from also from some people who are familiar with government officials and decisions. So Hong Kong right now is considered by China as a kind of sandbox for innovative stuff, including virtual assets. And Hong Kong will successfully adopt all this kind of like virtual assets retail trading, regulations, licensing regime, and like all these kind of things. So then probably it will be also adopted in mainland China. And I do believe it will be adopted in mainland China, so this will be the next bull run, the next cycle, because it's one of the biggest markets. So yeah, and for entrepreneurs, for founders, Hong Kong, of course, it's kind of like one of the most expensive cities in the world. But at the same time, there are many supporting programs by the government and by some like accelerators, incubators such as Cyberport, Science Park, accelerators by Animoca brands, by Brink, so that can really help startups to land here and to grow in Hong Kong and actually also like Southeast Asia, all over the world. Yeah, and basically, so even the prices are high for example, for apartments for the property, but there are still kind of like options to live at very like affordable level. For example, couple of thousand USD per month, so easily can find. Of course, this will not be like the luxury apartment or luxury house, but this will be kind of like the room in some co-living space. So co-living spaces right now, I think after the COVID restrictions, they will be also growing across Hong Kong. Yeah, actually, I myself running personally also the co-living space. So I opened this back in 2019, and my idea was exactly to bring entrepreneurs in Hong Kong and provide them with affordable living. Yeah, I think it's still a really great place for entrepreneurs, and thanks to the tax regime and so the basic law that actually very similar to English law. So also the English language is official. So all the documents, all the things are done in English. So yeah, and that's why Hong Kong is really great for starting the business.
Thanks so much, Ivan, for the insights. You have definitely dived in a little bit deeper of the ecosystem of Hong Kong, that where probably we can't really feel the connection at times, because the only reference that we could refer is certainly from the news and media, which only encapsulates this much. Now, Ivan, I also want to ask you to really dive in a bit deeper about government support. So, in fact, I understand there's also a slight controversy that where when Hong Kong make announcements that it's only going to support only 50 million Hong Kong dollars to really be rolling out international conferences, cross-border programs, and all the activities, youth programs to really be rolling out to support Web3 development. Indeed, a lot of people felt that, Hong Kong government could have done much better. And true enough, I used that statement and I was posting up on my LinkedIn just like about an hour, 2 hours ago, and few people, and it happens to be my honky mates, reply back to me and say that, hey, it's like the Hong Kong government became a laughing stock because they could have done more. They are not very supportive in that. Now, what's your take on that? Do you feel that that's a good start? Because to me, I thought it's a good start.
Yeah. It's definitely a good start. Of course, 50 million Hong Kong dollars. It's kind of like 8 million US. So it's actually nothing for Hong Kong.
Exactly.
So for all the money that actually are here. But I would say that first of all, this 50 million is kind of like the token of appreciation to the community and to Web3. Of course, government is very careful in this space, but also if we are talking about much broader definition of the technology, for example, if it's kind of like the blockchain startup, which is operating in, I don't know, like in fintech or in like property tokenization or anything else like based on the blockchain. So they can definitely apply not only for these 50 million fund, but also for much larger technology funds that actually operated by Hong Kong government and local venture capital firms. These funds actually, so they're much bigger, around like billions of USD.
Now, Ivan, where will you think that a new influx of funds will be entering into the Web3 space? And the reason why I'm asking you this question that personally I feel the next influx of money that will be coming into, that will be pouring into the Web3 will certainly be from the traditional investors, or rather I would say a family office. Like for instance, Ivan, right now I'm also raising capital for my fund to primarily to be investing just in the ASEAN region. And of course, there's been a lot of talks and discussions that, hey, family offices in Hong Kong are definitely far more receptive to diversify their portfolio to be investing in the Web3. Now, what's your take on the Hong Kong investment appetite from the traditional investors?
Yeah, for traditional investors and family offices, the Web3 and crypto space is still kind of quite risky and considered as quite risky. Of course, like the majority of family offices, they are more investing into traditional assets like real estate or more traditional assets than crypto. But however, what I see right now, more and more family offices and private equity firms, they are looking into the Web3 space. It's really great to see that events in Hong Kong focused on crypto assets and like virtual assets management. They are attended by traditional finance guys, like representatives of family offices who are really new to the space, but they really want to learn. And I do believe that there will be the move, because the property prices, they're quite right now struggling in Hong Kong. So it's not so exciting ROI as before. And actually, so with all these upcoming regulations and licensing regime for virtual asset operators, I think this will give more trust to all these traditional financial players to invest more into the space.
That's really exciting to know, because I've been telling everyone I will stay put in Hong Kong and just to focus in my capital raising, because I feel like everyone it's really entirely up to us of how we educate the traditional investors to really be diversifying their portfolio. As what you say, that real estate has reached its plateau level. There's not much appreciation to be taking place. And again, oftentimes that we're usually during a global meltdown or a global financial depression, that's where the best projects emerging, and that's where you get the best valuation of the project as well. So certainly, I feel, yes, there's a lot of exciting things that's happening. But having said that, probably let's just really just dive in a bit more in understanding the talent pool. Now, of course, we understand that there's so much that's going on in Hong Kong when it comes to capital raising. Now, what about the Hong Kong talent, the pool of talent, to really meet the growing demand for blockchain developers and also other specialized roles? Because if I give you, for example, like Vietnam is it's of course receiving a very good government initiative. What's really attracting the influx of the tourists, because the influx of the investors are simply because they have great vast of blockchain, a pool of blockchain talents and developers as well. And of course, the projects that's been building is simply spectacular, and that's where they attract this influx of investors. What about Hong Kong?
Regarding the talents and the support from the government, as what I see, so the government increased the number of applications to be accepted by the talents for visa. Of course, as I mentioned, it's not very easy to in example like junior developers to live here due to the high living cost. But if we are talking about kind of like senior level developers or mid-level developers, so they can easily find here the job. So the demand is really high, and the companies, so including crypto companies, so they are looking for this kind of people to be relocated to Hong Kong.
Okay, all right. So Hong Kong's again, it's ready with that. The infrastructure is ready. It's a growing demand in the pool of talents of developers and engineers as well. Now, we're talking about still in the Web3 spaces itself. Now, Ivan, so assuming right now, okay, I'm building an amazing protocol project. And then I would want to consider Hong Kong as one of my region to be living in. But of course, it's incomparable to other cities. Let's say, for instance, I think in ASEAN region, the standard of living in Hong Kong is far more expensive, and which sometimes it can be a barrier and a hindrance for me to be working on my project in Hong Kong itself. Now, walk me through why Hong Kong will be the perfect destination for me to be working on my project in Hong Kong as compared to other much more affordable cities like in Saigon or probably in Bali or probably even in Bangkok, Jakarta.
Well, I think the first benefit is, as I mentioned here, is a very, very simple and very affordable tax regime. Even the living cost is high, but the taxes are really low. So kind of like for companies, annual turnover less than 2 million Hong Kong dollars, it's just 8.25%. So very low. And it's like profit tax. No VAT, no nothing else. So if we are talking about comparing to all the places you mentioned, Saigon, Bali, so Hong Kong right now is getting back to its status of world financial and business hub. And what I remember, in example, before the COVID, and I'm sure it will be back. So all this business environment and all people from all over the world, they're coming to Hong Kong for business meetings, for the conferences. So even right now, elections were in place recently, but we have three conferences happening in a couple of
Absolutely.
months. So one is FOMO Asia, another one is WOW Summit, and then Web3 Festival, Hong Kong by HK Group. I'm sure in the future, next month it will be even more. So so people really will come, mingle, make partnerships. So as it was before, back in 2018, 2017. So yeah, I think this is the main difference from the places you mentioned. Of course, it's kind of like possible to live in that place and fly to Hong Kong, which is also an option. But I'm sure the deals and the partnerships will be happening definitely here at all these kind of events, meetings, and conferences.
Well, it's really very enlightening to be hearing that. I'm super stoked to really see what Hong Kong has in store for everyone, especially for either project builders, entrepreneurs, or even general partners that definitely want to raise capitals for their projects as well as fund itself. Yeah, I guess at this moment right now we're talking about I think ever since Hong Kong has made announcements since last October, November, and I think there's been a lot of series of events that's been going on, and I couldn't agree more with you that will definitely be attracting. It's going to be eyeballs to the global and for people to be stepping into Hong Kong. Now, with all this global financial crisis that's been taking place, do you feel like it plays any role to actually be shaking Hong Kong's vote of confidence? I mean, the fact that with Silicon Valley Bank, do you think that it brings more on the upper side or downside for Hong Kong to really be progressing?
Well, I don't think it will have like the direct impact on Hong Kong Web3 and venture capital ecosystem, because first of all, of course, these kind of like things with Silicon Valley Bank and with Silvergate, so they are given the impact on the whole industry, because many like big players in the Web3 space, they hold their assets in these kind of banks. But I think also if we are talking about the future of the industry in the long term, I think all these happenings with FTX, with all these banks, of course they will bring more regulations and more clarity into the space. And I do believe they will also clean the space, and the project that really building the applications that are like adopting the technology to real life, so they will definitely grow.
Wonderful. Yeah, I certainly agree to that as well. Nobody can take away the reputation and also the branding of Hong Kong being a financial global hub at the end of the day. Last but not least, I'll probably want to cover on regulation. Now, if you're given a crystal ball and you able to crystallize that, how do you see the regulation will shape to create a more positive impact for the Web3 ecosystem in Hong Kong? How do you see that will be the biggest change of the regulation, or do you feel that whatever they have made an announcement has really reached there's only that much that can be done?
So yeah, this is a good question, and from the past, so some announcements of Hong Kong government, they were just the announcements. But what I see at this moment, so after they really declared in November this intention to make Hong Kong virtual asset hub, so it looks like in the past several months they really did a good job. So also consulting with the industry players, so with different kind of associations, with law firms, with exchanges. So really to listen to the community, and the fact that in December the ETFs on Bitcoin and Ethereum were launched in Hong Kong. So I think this is also a great move just 1 month after the announcement at Hong Kong FinTech Week. So I'm looking at it very optimistic right now. So regarding the regulators and their intention in Hong Kong. So let's see what will happen. So if right now all these applicants for the licenses, all these crypto exchanges will be granted by the visit licenses. So this will be definitely exciting for the industry itself.
Yeah, wonderful. That's a wonderful insight. Thanks, Ivan. Well, I definitely looking forward for my next trip to Hong Kong. So I would certainly going to ping you and holla you in Hong Kong for you to be taking me around. Before we wrap up the session, I would like to ask you 5 bonus questions, and you just need to answer in the shortest answers as possible, preferably 1 or maximum 2 words. So let's begin with the first one. So I understand that you are a VC as well, and also you have been dabbling between both entrepreneurs and also becoming an investor right now. Now, what is the one greatest investment lesson that you have learned throughout your entire career, Ivan?
Yeah, investment lesson. Well, it's actually there were many of them.
The one golden one.
So,
that one golden one that you always tell people. Or probably you give the best advice to others, but not the best advice to yourself.
Yeah. I think the best lesson and the golden lesson what I learned is and the advice I'm giving to others is choose your partners and founders or like investment partners very careful.
That's
no, because the relations between partners is the crucial thing in both like startup or VC world. So this is kind of like the crucial thing, and I saw so many collapses, and I also was on both sides, like when founders came to some kind of like disagreement, and even if it was like the $1 billion company, so it went bankrupt after the conflict of the founders. So yeah.
Wow, that was
think
powerful. That was powerful. Certainly, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, business partnership is exactly like marriage. So choose the person that who you're going to sleep with. Choose the business partner correctly as how the person you're going to sleep with in your life on a daily basis. I think this is so important. That was such a goal.
Yeah, I think it's also applicable to the relations between founders and investors. So for founders, it's very important to choose the right investor that will really help them not only with money but also with different kind of mentorship, advice, connections, and etc. Because like the passive investor, it's also not really good for the project itself. And also another advice is don't give to investors like too much at the early stage, because sometimes so investors, they say like, oh, okay, I take like 51% of your company and then I will invest in it. So this is not good idea for founders, because in that case, so the investor can dictate what founders must do, and also there is no more space for other investors, for other professional investors who will come on board.
Very true, Ivan. There's so many desperate founders and entrepreneurs out there. You can't possibly imagine that the number of founders that I know of when they're desperate of money and they'll just take whatever the amount of money that's given and diluting the equity because they felt that their equity doesn't mean anything, especially at an early stage. But when they start growing the business and they realize how important it is, and that really sums up the wholesome of the business, and that is so important. Yes, that was such a good one. Moving on next, what was the best investment advice that you have ever heard?
Yeah, the best investment advice. I think actually I just mentioned.
Okay, that's the best investment advice.
Yeah.
So your lesson and advice.
And also, well, if we're talking about the investors itself and the advices to investors, I think it's pretty much similar to traditional venture capital industry, where investors normally investing, on early stages. So they are normally investing in people rather than in the project itself. So because people are the most important, so people, it's those who will drive the project, and the team and relations within the team and their past background. So this is actually like what's important for early stage investments.
Absolutely.
So I think this is the best. So like invest in people, not in projects.
Absolutely. We'll probably have a bit more separate chat where we talk about people, what kind of qualities do you look for, but we keep it on a separate note. What about the worst investment advice then, Ivan?
The worst investment advice. Okay. I can tell, like, when it was as well around like 7 years ago, and I was invited into one project, so on the investor side, so which actually was developed by different kind of like some German engineers and also like international team, but so my partner here really say like, oh, we need to invest into this project because I know the very high level politician that's supporting this project, so that's why I will also invest. So actually like it happened that the project itself and the technology itself were not so progressive and even like not existing. but people were looking at kind of like, oh, they have so big like support, so like big names in the project, and but not really were considering like the technology itself and the team inside the team, the relations itself. So I think this was, and of course, like all the investors, they lose their money.
So stay away from politically inclined projects as a connection there.
Yeah. So I think definitely more important traction of the project and the team of the project, rather than kind of like the names or support they are showing on their like website or on presentations, whatever. So the real partnership, the real traction, the real users, I think this is like the key things in the investments, not just like the hype or big names or whatever.
Absolutely. So all those are just for vanity purpose. It looks good aesthetically. But let's dive in. So what's really more important? And it's exactly the same as whether you're running an AI or blockchain business. Let's go back to where it's the growth of your business, and fundamentally, where's the foundation and the fundamental of the business. My second last question then. What is the biggest common mistake that investors are always practicing?
Oh, okay. I think the biggest mistake is when they don't do the proper due deal of the project, when they are actually like following someone. So normally, like how does it work? Okay, Sequoia is inside this project. Okay, we'll throw in the money there. And then, the situation with FTX. So, like all these people, they lose money, all the investors, and Sequoia just like write off this 150 million or something, or 300 million. But actually, the thing is that Sequoia can do this because they are managing like so huge AUM. But for other investors, I think it's need to make the proper due deal for the projects and to dive inside the project and to talk to the founders and to see how the company is operating.
Absolutely. So going back to always do your own research. It's not about the brand. It's not how big the investors are in doing your own personal research. It's so simple that we always talk about, but oftentimes it's just so difficult to practice among investors. But once again, thanks so much, Ivan, for joining us this session, and thank you so much everybody for tuning in. And I wish you best of luck with your upcoming World Summit, and I hope to see you soon in person. And
yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, really interesting conversation.
Absolutely.
And, looking forward to meeting you at World Summit. All the people who listen to this.
Sure, certainly. Thanks so much then. And have a wonderful day ahead then.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.